exploring biodiversity as an engine for ecosystem function, a desertification reversal perspective.
Welcome to the Universal Principles podcast. We're diving into the idea of biodiversity as an engine for ecosystem function today. Essentially, the more diverse an ecosystem, the healthier and more resilient it is. Think of it as nature's safety net. Our expert guest today is deeply involved in desertification reversal strategies. Could you give us some context on how this principle applies to your field?
Thanks for having me. In desertification reversal, biodiversity isn't just a nice to have, it's the linchpin. The higher concept is that diversity drives adaptability and robustness. A landscape with a variety of native plants, animals, and microorganisms is much better equipped to handle drought, pests, and climate change than a monoculture or a degraded ecosystem. It's really about building resilience from the ground up.
That makes perfect sense. Could you walk us through a concrete example of how you've seen this principle in action?
Absolutely. One example is reintroducing native plant species to restore degraded rangelands. Often, overgrazing or unsustainable farming practices leave the soil bare and vulnerable. By planting a diverse mix of native grasses, shrubs, and trees, we can improve soil health, increase water infiltration, and create habitat for wildlife. It's amazing how quickly things can turn around.
That's fascinating. What's another example that highlights the importance of biodiversity?
Another great example is creating wildlife corridors to connect fragmented habitats. When natural areas are broken up by roads, agriculture, or development, animal populations become isolated and vulnerable. By establishing corridors of native vegetation, we can allow animals to move freely between habitats, find mates, and access resources, ultimately boosting genetic diversity and overall ecosystem health. It's about reconnecting the landscape.
So diversity isn't just about plants, but about the entire interconnected web of life. Are there other fields where a similar principle applies, even if it doesn't seem obvious at first?
Definitely, think about sustainable urban agriculture, polyculture, and biodiversity, which is growing multiple crops together in the same space. It is the same thing as desertification reversal, just a different context. The more varied the crops, the less resources each crop needs, and the better chance of a large yield overall.
Okay, so how can our listeners apply this principle in their own lives, even if they're not conservationists?
Great question. First, support local initiatives that promote biodiversity, like community gardens or native plant nurseries. Second, reduce your impact on the environment by using less water, avoiding pesticides, and supporting sustainable agriculture. And third, educate yourself and others about the importance of biodiversity and the threats it faces.
Excellent advice. So to recap, support local biodiversity, reduce your environmental impact, and educate yourself. Thanks for shedding light on this vital principle and its connection to desertification reversal. Any final thoughts?
Just remember that every action, no matter how small, can make a difference. By working together to protect and restore biodiversity, we can create a more resilient and sustainable future for all.
Wonderful, thank you for being here, and thank you for tuning in to Universal Principles. Join us next time as we explore another fascinating principle that shapes our world.